Greetings and Namaste. This is Trevor7, student of AvatarEnergyMaster.com and creator of ③TELEKINESIS.com. This is part 3 of my tutorial series. We're going to learn how to push and to pull and to turn. If you have a dollar bill and a nail, you're all set. Today I feel like a magician giving away all these secrets, but like I said before, I really truly just want you to learn how to do telekinesis. So I'm going to give you my methods on how we use our breath. We use the top of our breath to push, and we use the center of our breath to do more delicate and intricate type things where we don't want a lot of force, and how we use the bottom of our breath to pull. Okay, and real quickly, just take a look at this chart, find your sign, and note what your element is, like water, fire, earth, and the sign, the negative or positive. I found that some people, the negative is like magnetic and the positive is like electric. And I found that some people that are negative can pull easier and some people can push easier. So you might keep that in mind while we're working on this and start with the easy stuff. Okay, so we basically have the top of our breath where our lung is full of air, full breath, and then the center where we're kind of either relaxed or in between an inhale and exhale, and then the bottom of our breath where our lungs are completely empty. And then there are positions within that as well. So when you're at the top of your breath and you're almost to peak full capacity, but you're still pulling air in, that's top A. And top B is whenever you're full of air and you're ready to start exhaling at the top of your breath, that's B. And then of course the center is when you're in between breaths or you're relaxed and just your normal typical shallow breathing type place. And then the bottom of course is when you've pushed all the air out of your lungs. And bottom A is when you're almost at the bottom where you still have a little bit to push out. And bottom B is when you've already pushed out and you feel the urge to pull back in. Okay, so those are our three positions, three basic positions, and then I'm going to try to show you how they're used. So top A, while you're reaching almost maximum capacity of your inhale, that is your strongest pull, like you see me doing here, right there. And then whenever you reach the point to where you want to exhale, and that's the strongest part of your, or that's the beginning of your push, top B, and that's where I use to push things, like you see there. And then the center, when you're at the center of your breath and you start to inhale, that's a kind of a weak pull, or some people use them just basically for turns and things. And that works well for, like you see there at the chi spinners. And the same thing, the center B, when you're in the middle of your breath and you push out a little exhale, that's center B, and that's usually associated with turning something a different direction. At least this is the way I do it. And then your bottom A, that's when you're almost ready to push all the air out of your breath. That's your strongest point for pushing, and that's what I use for pushing big things, or a nice strong push. And then your bottom B is when you've pushed everything out and you're about to begin your inhale again, and that's a pretty good strong pull too there. So you can kind of experiment and see which ones work best for you, but you really do, you use your breath is moving air, it's energy. Okay, so we have our top, our center, and our bottom breaths, and then we're going to learn today how to attach our breath and use them to pull for an inhale, and then keep it in the center of our breath to do nice, idle, easy things. And then we're going to use the bottom of our breath, our exhale, to push. Okay? So I hope this helps you guys out. This is my method, and hopefully it'll work for you guys too. So the first thing we're going to practice here is our top B push. That's our strongest move typically when it comes to moving air and telekinesis. So get your dollar bill. We'll do the same thing we did with the foil, where we fold it in half, acquire empathy, and set our threshold. I didn't do that this time because I wanted it to kind of be cold and hard, and give you guys a chance to see what it looks like when you fail, and I'll explain the process. Okay, the leaning back is just clearing my mind, and you'll notice my eyes are still closed. And that first breath is just an energy breath. And then I open my eyes, and on my exhale, of course, I envision the pushing. And then I push as best I can, and then when I push again at the bottom of my breath. If that doesn't work, I close my eyes, take another breath, imagine breathing in energy, then open my eyes, exhale again with the push, with the intentions, and that time it worked. Okay, so again, this is a top B push when we've reached maximum capacity of our inhale and we're about to exhale, and we're going to use that as a push. So I'm just relax, detach myself from my body, and acquire empathy with the dollar bill. Imagine what I want to do. get my lungs in the proper position by taking an energy breath, open my eyes, and push. And there it was. And that's basically the nuts and bolts of it, guys. I mean, inhale to pull and exhale to push, and there's kind of 3 stages of it. So this is the top A pull. So that's when I'm almost at maximum inhale, but I'm still able to still draw air. And that's a pretty strong pull point. So, you know, the bottom of your breath when you begin your inhale, that's a pull, and then when you're also at the very top, and you're about to finish off the end of your inhale, that's also a very strong pull. Okay, so we lean back, take our energy breath, keep our eyes closed, acquire empathy, imagine our goal, open our eyes using our breath in the right position, pull with an inhale, didn't work, close your eyes, get ready, prepare again, open your eyes, project your intentions, use your breath to pull, no good. Use that top of your breath, pull, didn't work, close your eyes, exhale, empathy, imagination, open eyes, use breath to pull, and pull. Using the very top of the breath. You see that I was clear at the end of my inhale. And like I said, those are the 2 strong points, the beginning of your inhale and towards the end of your inhale. Okay, so now we're going to use a bottom push used for pull. Remember I told you we had some alternative ways to use things. You can push at the bottom of the bill to simulate a pull. So if you're stronger at pushing, you know, the objective is the main thing, and how we get there, it doesn't matter. No one can see what you're doing anyway, so that's the great thing about telekinesis. Use what works for you. So here what I'm going to do is use a push to make the bill fall towards me, as in a pull. So I'm just focusing on more so on the bottom of the bill. And again, get the energy breath, open our eyes with our imagination, push the bottom of the bill. There you go. A push to achieve a pull. So you can just experiment with this, guys. I mean, there's probably more than one way to skin a cat here. This is just what's been working for me. Okay, so then let's get your nail, and we'll use the same dollar bill, keep it folded, and find the center somewhere around old George Washington's cheekbone, I believe, and get it set up, and we'll use the center of our breath. Now, when you get good and strong at this, I realize now some of you aren't that strong at it, and your pushes and pulls aren't really affecting anything. But when you get good and strong at this, your push and pulls will be knocking stuff over. So we have to use the center of our breath, that where you're not really inhaling too much or pulling too much. So it's a good thing to practice connecting your hands with this as well, so you don't get confused on your directions. But then we want to make sure you're not using our chi too. So when you get fairly decent at it, we want to back up a little bit and make sure you're using the telekinesis and not just the energy that flows, you know, from your hands, in and out of your hands. So practice this a little bit, and if the dollar bill is too big or it's intimidating or whatever, just use something smaller. Use a small. I want you to stick with paper though, because we don't want people to get it in their head that they can only move foil, or they can only move water, or they can only move this or that. Telekinesis it's universal, guys. I mean, telekinesis, once you learn that, you've basically got the foundation for all forms of psychokinesis. So please stick with paper, but you don't have to use something that big. And use like I said, use your hand motions along with your mental imagery and find something that works for you. Maybe your left hand is always a pull and your right hand is always a push. And I'm a little bit dyslexic, so I kind of have to really use a lot of visualization and not concentrate too much, because when I see it start turning left, I start thinking right, and vice versa, so it gets a little bit confusing. So I've associated some push and pull gestures. You're welcome to use these if you want, but just like I said, use whatever works for you, and practice, practice, practice. There's people complaining, oh, this didn't work for me, it didn't work. Well, we're using a muscle we never use, guys. So at the beginning, of course, it's going to be very slow, and your success will be few and far between. But just stick with it, and once that muscle gets awakened, and you can start strengthening it, it starts getting much easier, guys. It starts going downhill from there. And so that's it in a nutshell, guys. That's basically how I use my breath for pushes and pulls and turns. And you know, the doing the telekinesis and everything is cool and fun, but you know, the real beauty of telekinesis is not what you see. It's the connection with everything else, the all is one mentality, and empathy and the clairvoyance and connecting with the elements and other people and everything. The more you do this, the more you realize that everything truly is energy, and we're the intelligent life force, guys. We all came from the same all-knowing source, or at least that's what I've come to believe. We are far more powerful than we've been led to believe. I can say that much with certainty. So keep the faith, guys, and don't think for 1 minute that someone's more powerful than you. I think on the inside we're all the same. So use one or some or all of these methods I've been sharing with you so far, and when you find something that works for you, run with it. you know It just takes a lot of time and a lot of practice, and if you use these 3 tools that I've given you and maybe some of these tips I've provided, you'll find success sooner than you would have without me. Okay, so just a quick recap. Visit the website to pick up the tools you need, watch the tutorials, learn how to balance and bond, practice with your foil and feathers, and detox and eating right and meditation, that's a big part of it, guys. And that mood, motive, and timing, that's something you got to consider as well. And now you add another tool to your toolbox here. Use breath to push and pull and turn. So I hope this helps you out, guys. And just to recap real quick, the top A, pull to the top of your breath where you're finishing up your inhale, and then when you're finishing off your exhale, that's a good strong place to push. Then use that center of your breath to do small things, and never try too hard, and always try to improve your distance so you can improve your skills. Then the bottom of your breath, that's a real strong push, and then the bottom where you start to inhale again, that's a pretty good strong pull too. So there we go, top, center, and bottom breathing techniques used for telekinesis. Okay, so I hope this helps you out, and as always, your questions and courteous comments are welcome here, or you may email me as well. And I hope this changes your ideas about air and breath. Air is energy, and if you're going to be exerting energy, you need to be moving air in and out of your lungs. So practice, practice, practice. And the pushing and pulling and turning techniques I shared today, like I said, are my version of how I use my breath. If you have another way, whatever works for you, guys, use any trick in the book. I wish you much success, and I thank you guys for watching. This is Trevor7, student of AvatarEnergyMaster.com and creator of How-To Telekinesis, and this concludes tutorial part 3. Namaste, and God bless.